So I made a reel the other day comparing NASA to the CDC, the FDA, and all the other government organizations. And so many people blew that post up, accusing me of being a flat earther and that I was crazy. But guys, that post had nothing to do with flat earth. And what I think the planet looks like has nothing to do with them being a corrupt organization. So I'm going to share with you a little video here that you should watch. And this is just one of the many, many things that I truly believe that NASA is lying about.
Have you guys heard about this? They are claiming they have found the geographical location of the Garden of Eden. And out of all places, you won't believe this, the North Pole.
I've been told there's no land at the North Pole. But if we look at a live wind finder view, we can see in the center of the Earth there is something large diverting the wind. What is this, you may ask? Well, I'm about to show you. Just go ahead and type in on Google, old map of the North Pole, and all these old maps will come up from the 1500s. And here's what they look like. Look right here, made in 1595. And if we look in the center of the map here, we have what is called the Rupus Nigra. Rupus Nigra was believed to be a huge magnetic rock located at the North Pole. This is why all the compasses point north. The Rupus Nigra was 33 miles in size, which is literally bigger than most cities, which is why it's able to block the wind like this at the North Pole. It's funny how all the early NASA Satelloon footage looks like this, with some big black hole in the center. Nothing to see here, guys. If you guys didn't know, this is literally the mountain that's spoken about all throughout the Bible. This is Mount Zion, which is located directly above the Garden of Eden, which is why you see these 4 rivers coming out of it. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. If we look in the book of Ezekiel, thou hast been in the Garden of Eden. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. So we know the holy mountain of God is located in the Garden of Eden. Rupus Nigra is the holy mountain of God. They're beautiful in elevation, which means it's very high. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion in the far north, which is why you can literally see the very top of it poking out through the clouds. No other mountain in the world does this.
So just in case you missed it, let me break it down in simple terms. We are given the impression by NASA based on images that are taken from satellites. It's just one big black hole based on the images that we see. But maps from the 1800s reveal that there is actually land on the North Pole. It is not some black empty void space. Now one would have to question, why would they hide this from us? What's the point? Now what these maps from the 1500s reveal about the North Pole, there is a gigantic mountain or rock mass that is right there at the North Pole. And this can be confirmed today if we look at modern wind finder view technology. You will see there is a massive mass of some sort right at the North Pole that is blocking the wind or redirecting the wind around it. Now just a sidebar, this massive rock at the North Pole, or this mountain-like structure, was known as the Rupus Nigra. Now guess what Rupus Nigra means? It means black rock. That name Black Rock sounds real familiar. Now this massive mountain or black rock they believe to be is the literal Mount Zion. And based on the book of Ezekiel, some people believe that Mount Zion was right beneath the Garden of Eden, which makes the topic we're talking about so believable, because this mountain is surrounded by water that flows in 4 different directions. And how is it again that the Bible describes the Garden of Eden? Genesis 2:10. A river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and there it divided and became 4 rivers. Wow. In the book of Ezekiel, we can see the Garden of Eden being referenced directly to the holy mountain of God, or Mount Zion. Very, very interesting to say the least, right? Now, is this true, and is it the real geographical location of the Garden of Eden? Well, I'm not sure. It could be, It's not like they've ever found it in history to our knowledge anyway. But then again, that would give credibility to the Bible being true, and there's a lot of forces at work that just do not want us to know that. I also think it's interesting how NASA would go out of their way to black out. Now, what I'm going to share with you guys next is probably some of the most compelling and secretive information about this story. What it will prove to you is that this place, whatever it is, was purposely covered up. And it'll also prove to you who had something to do with it. But I cannot share this information on the social media platforms.
Did you know that the Earth does not spin? According to the heliocentric theory, the Earth spins at a speed of 1,040 miles per hour at the equator. If Earth really spun, things would just fly off to space. Cars, airplanes, buildings, people, etc. would just fly off to space. Look at the example on this devil's wheel, how the young ladies get thrown off the center. Defenders of the globe. Earth theory will claim gravity pulls things towards the center, but gravity is just a theory. If there was such a force keeping things stuck to the ground, no birds, butterflies, kites, hot air balloons would be able to fly. The Earth does not spin. It is flat and stationary. Research flat Earth.
Welcome back to Firmament 5. Let's talk about what's beneath us. First, a quick little recap for the newbies. And you'll remember in Genesis 1, we read biblical representation depicting the earth as flat inside of a dome called the firmament with waters above and below us. We also read where the moon, the sun, and the stars are all local and located within the firmament. We noted the interchangeable words of heaven, sky, and dome were all referring to the firmament. We shared in the chat that outer space is actually high altitude firmament, inner space. I shared on the possibilities that Antarctica is not actually a continent, but an ice wall that goes around the dome that helps contain the water. More on that later. But one of the questions we have yet to answer, if the earth is flat, then what is holding us up? Well, let's see what the Bible has to say. 1 Samuel 2:8 reads, "For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them." Proverbs 8:29 is a big clue. He's saying when he set out the sea's boundaries, he marked out the foundations of the earth. In Job 38, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth, or who laid its cornerstone? But personally for me, the last one is my favorite. In Psalms 104:5, it says, he established the earth upon its foundations so that it will not totter forever and ever. First, let's get an understanding of the scientific models that are most used. The first one is the helio. Helio is for sun. This is where the earth rotates around the sun. The other is the geocentric model. Geo meaning earth, like geography. This is the one where we're doing the wild corkscrew through outer space, where the sun and the other planets corkscrew around us. So if the word that we just read, it says that he laid the earth upon its foundation so that it won't be moved, either of these models wouldn't work. So then where are they? Just like in a house, all foundations are at the bottom of the earth. And also Psalm 75:3 speaks to the firmness of its placement. So given that, is your faith as firm as the foundations God speaks about in Scripture?
Did you know that telescopes come with preloaded images of stars and planets, which are already rounded up like spheres? That's why you think the so-called planets are spheres, because the software installed in these telescopes round them up like spheres. But when you look at the stars and planets with a Nikon P1000, you see stars are just lights in the sky. They are doing the same thing with cell phones now. Listen to this young man explaining the situation.
There's this feature on your phones that if you zoom in on like the moon at night, it will show a clear image of the moon. Like, oh shit, it can zoom in and get every single detail, right? But it's all fake. So they did a test and they took like a fake moon, just a white circle. They took a white circle out of paper, put it in their house, turned off all the lights, pretended it was the moon, and zoomed in, and it created the moon. It literally created all the details of the moon, fam. It was fake.
The earth is flat, and this is proof. When people travel, why do they say around the world? Shouldn't they say travel over and under the world? This is proof.
Here's the thing. If you're standing on the beach and you see to your left and your right that the water is flat and level for hundreds of miles, and someone says to you, yeah, we live on a ball, the burden of proof lies with the person saying that we live on a ball, not with you. You don't have to prove we live on a flat plane when you're staring at it. And when I say flat plane, I'm not talking about we live on a flat slab of granite. I'm talking about the plane. So the plane can be like a plate, like a tectonic plate, right? A plate which is curved and holds water. It's not ridiculous to a scientist to understand that model, which is a geocentric model in that all of these things are spiraling around this flat accretion disk. It's a galaxy. It's the same thing. So obviously scientists understand it and know it. But the minute you say we live inside of this torus field on a flat plane, they say it's ridiculous and stupid. We don't live on a flat plane. You're crazy. Well, we do actually. If we live on a galactic plane, we live on a flat plane. The difference is that they're saying we live on a spinning ball because they inverted the torus field model in the 1700s. The Jesuits did when they took over the Vatican, and the Vatican decided we're going to get Copernicus to invert this using math. So two conventions can provide the same kind of evidence and everything, or provide evidence to support the same phenomenon. So you can take an inversion of something, and both things can be perfectly logical, reasonable, using math, physics, and everything, but only one of them applies to you in your reality. And that is that we live inside of an atom, a torus field. It's all the same thing. And the ancients knew this. So the scientists know that the ancients knew this. They know that the ancients understood. They understood frequencies and how frequencies shape everything. They weren't stupid. They understood astrology and astronomy and how the heavens worked. They understood it very well. So scientists know this. And they are deceiving everyone, and everyone just believes it because they're told to believe it from birth. So if you do not question these same people that control the world and are currently in their death throes trying to continue to control the world, if you still believe them, what does that say about you? You believe these people that are like mafia leaders, like that torture people and kill people all for fun and make lots of money and steal from you, and like you believe all those people because they're the ones that are saying we live on a spinning ball. And if you think that NASA and the governments of the world and corporations love you, would never lie to you, what does that say about you? You don't know that they're all lying to you at this point? Really? You really think we live on a spinning ball when they have no proof and they've lied about everything else? Why is it just this one thing you believe? Here's what I would do if I could prove that we lived on a ball. I would show you. I would just show you. I would show the world on TikTok. Look, this is how a ball holds water to its surface. This is how gases stay around a ball and do not escape. This is how the mass of an object attracts another object. But they can't do it, and they won't do it because they can't. It's a lie. And the minute I talk about this, I inevitably get all these comments. How does a boat disappear over the horizon? And why don't we fall off the edge? And ridiculous shit like that over and over again. And it's like, it's scary how stupid people actually are. So I kind of get it. I kind of get how the elitists are like, these are stupid people. We're just going to kill all of them. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you should kill people. Don't go off on that one. I'm just saying I kind of get why they feel that way, because people are lazy and stupid, and they don't try. They don't even try to understand something. That is the difference between being a liberated, self-actualized human being and a tool, you know? And it's just sad. It's sad that there's so many humans that are like that. I also understand that it's complicated. The model is complicated because it's multidimensional, and a lot of people can't think above 3 dimensions. Like, they don't understand how a torus field is multidimensional. It has all of these different waves going in all different directions, spiraling around, and that there are different states of matter. And, you know, I get it, you know, but, you know, don't just quote the heliocentric model and say, well, this is why this happens. Because as I told you, there are 2 models, and both can explain the same phenomenon. And when I say phenomenon, I'm talking about something like the ship disappearing over the horizon, or the sun appearing to come up over the horizon. These things can be explained in a different way than just saying we live on a ball, because of optics. So you have a vanishing point. When something's moving farther away from you, it grows smaller until you can't see it anymore because the atmosphere obscures it. And you may be able to get a telescope and go back in and see it again, but only to a certain point, because then it's going to continue to move even farther and farther away to where you can't see it any more than you can see a star with a telescope that would be light years and light years away from you. You can't. It's ridiculous to think that the lights from stars are traveling billions of light years to get to you, and you can see it with a telescope. But people believe it because they're told that's the truth. So I don't care what you believe. You can believe whatever you want to, but it is important that you research the actual torus field model and not just regurgitate the heliocentric model, because we all know that model, and we're saying that that explains it in one way, but the torus field model explains it in another way. And if you don't know the torus field model, then you're ignorant, and you could be wrong about your model, right? So you need to know both of them, not just one, not just the one you were told. You're going to have to put your ego aside in order to do that, because everyone will tell you you're a ridiculous fool for researching it. And this is how the truth sets you free, because once you understand this system, how it works, the template of creation, the template of God, you know, the omnipresent creator of all things, you realize you're part of that. You're made in the same image as that. And you are an infinitely sustained being. You don't need anyone. You don't need to depend upon the things they hoard.
The burden of proof is carried by those who make the claim. Here is the evidence that the Earth is flat. 360 degrees of a flat horizon. Globe believers claim the horizon we witness as being flat, curved somewhere. They just don't provide us with the proof. All they offer are some CGI images and fish eye lens evidences. They offer no proof of Earth's revolution around the sun. There is no proof of a spinning ball. We have zero curvature. Globers, if you claim Earth is a ball, offer us some proof. Put up or shut up.
The flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Idialenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.
Will you welcome back? Come on in.